Most people find that much of what they think today mirrors what they thought yesterday. This repetition spans their thoughts about themselves, their lives, and their work. It's no wonder that many lives remain stagnant. However, the key to transformation lies in awakening to the realization that you might be living in an emotional home you no longer wish to inhabit. And the power to change that is entirely within your grasp. Consider this. Everyone has an emotional home. Imagine having $1 billion, yet if your habitual emotions are frustration and anger, your life becomes one of frustration and anger. Wealth or external circumstances become irrelevant when your internal emotional landscape remains unchanged. Let this be a guiding truth. The quality of your life is a reflection of your habitual emotions. The entire fabric of your life is woven from these emotional threads. Until you consciously shift these emotional patterns, you will continue to face challenges. You reflect for a moment. Picture the communities in regions prone to frequent cyclones or devastating storms like those in Central America or New Orleans. They rebuild after each disaster only to face the same destruction again. Have you ever wondered why they don't move? It's because they've conditioned themselves to view their surroundings as home. They cling to what they know. It's easy to observe this pattern in others, but much harder when it's a matter of your own emotional state. And we all have our own emotional homes. Some of you, like me, may have grown up in environments marked by hardship and pain. Part of my journey has been to overcome that suffering, seeking answers and striving to alleviate suffering for others. While I cannot control everything, my own experience of hardship fuels my desire to help others find relief. I don't want anyone else to endure unnecessary suffering if I can offer support and guidance. Most people suffer even when they're successful. Or if you're successful but not fulfilled, that's the ultimate failure. If you have people who love you but you're not feeling joyous and alive, something is wrong. What is it? It's that you have an old emotional home you're used to. Maybe your home is not very happy. It's a home of worry, frustration, anger, and feelings of injustice. You find a way to get back to that home using whatever environment you can. How many of you know someone who's always angry about something? How many know someone who is always worried? How many know someone who isn't really funny but thinks they are, cracking themselves up with stupid jokes? These people have different emotional homes. Some people's home is anger. They will always find something to be angry about because it's what they're used to. It's their conditioning. Even when a storm comes in and messes up their life, they go right back to the same state. Wouldn't it be nice to upgrade your emotional home where you live? What if you could live every day with a vast majority of your emotions being joy, gratitude, love, and appreciation? What would it feel like if you were in these states every day 90-95% of the time and quickly got out of negative states? You can make that change this weekend. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying you will be perfect and never have a negative feeling. Negative feelings are sometimes signals to make changes. However, most people just hang on to negativity and keep living with it. Finding other things to be negative about will never give you what you want. Money won't do it, and neither will the acknowledgement of others. Everything you think will do it will not. Only one thing will do it, drawing a line in the sand and making the most important decision of your life to live in a beautiful state no matter what. Life is too short to suffer. We have a choice. Pain is sometimes part of life, but suffering is a choice. For most of us, it's not a choice because we have the habit of suffering, being stressed, worried, frustrated, and angry. We're wired that way, and that's the muscle we've built. But if we rebuild our emotional home to be even more magnificent, then you can have the life you desire and deserve. You can do it in one weekend if you give your all and put enough energy into it while you're learning. If you've ever felt stressed, and who hasn't, chances are that this stress comes from a feeling of not having enough time to do what you desire with the quality you are committed to. In this state of stress and overwhelm, your effectiveness diminishes rapidly. The solution is simple. Take control of the time frame you are focusing on. If the present feels stressful, become more resourceful in addressing your challenges by focusing on the future and the successful completion or resolution of the tasks before you. This shift in focus will instantly transform your state and provide you with the resources needed to turn things around in the present. We often forget that time is a mental construct. It is entirely relative, and our experience of time is almost entirely the result of our mental focus. Our beliefs also filter our perception of time. For some, regardless of the situation, 20 minutes feels like a lifetime. For others, a long time feels like a century. Imagine how differently these people walk, talk, and view their goals. And they might be significantly stressed if they had to interact with one another while operating from entirely different frames of reference. This is why mastering time is a vital life skill. The ability to flex your experience of time is essentially the ability to shape your experience of life. For today's exercises, let's briefly review and apply 3 time-saving tips. The ability to distort time. After you've mastered the ability to change time frames by changing your focus, you're ready to move on to the second major skill of time mastery. This skill is the ability to distort time so that a minute feels like an hour, or an hour like a minute. Haven't you noticed that when you become totally engrossed in something, you lose track of time? Why? Because you no longer focus on it. You make fewer measurements of it. When you're focused on something enjoyable, time passes more rapidly. Remember that you're in control. Direct your focus and consciously choose how to measure your time. If you are constantly checking your watch, time seems to crawl. When your experience of time is controlled by your focus. A matter of importance, perhaps the most critical distinction of all, is understanding how urgency and importance control your decisions about what to do with your time and therefore your level of personal fulfillment. Have you ever worked hard, completed every single thing on your to-do list, but still felt unfulfilled at the end of the day? That's because you did everything that was urgent and demanded your attention in the moment, but didn't focus on what was important, the things that would make a difference long term. Conversely, have you ever had days when you got only a few things done but felt that the day had really mattered? These are the days when you focused on what's important rather than what urgently needed your attention. The only way to truly master your time is to organize your schedule each day to spend the majority of it doing things that are important rather than urgent. Save yourself years. The most powerful way I've learned to compress time is to learn through other people's experiences. Thus, we can never truly master time as long as our primary strategy for learning and mastering our world is based on trial and error. Modeling those who've already succeeded can save you years of pain. This is why I am a voracious reader and a committed student of tapes and seminars. I've always seen these experiences as necessities, not accessories. They have given me the wisdom of decades of experience and the success that results from it. I challenge you to learn from other people's experiences as often as you can and to utilize whatever you learn. Now, throughout this day, begin to explore changing time frames. Whenever you're feeling the pressures of the present, stop and think about the future in ways that are empowering. For example, think of goals that compel you and become fully associated with them. Visualize the image, listen to it, step into it, and notice how it feels. Put yourself back into the midst of a treasured memory, the first kiss, the birth of your child, or a special moment with a friend. The more you develop your capability to quickly change time frames, the greater your level of freedom and the range of emotions you will be able to create within yourself at a moment's notice. Do this enough until you truly know you can use this change and focus to instantly change your state. Learn to deliberately distort time. For something that normally seems to take a long time to complete, add another component that will not only speed up your perception of time, but allow you to accomplish 2 things at once. For example, when I'm running, I'll don a pair of headphones and listen to my favorite music or watch the news or make phone calls while I'm on my Stairmaster. This means I'll never have an excuse not to exercise or not to do what's important. Write a to-do list that prioritizes according to importance instead of urgency. Instead of writing down a multitude of things to do and feeling like a failure at the end of the day, focus on what's most important for you to accomplish. If you do this, you'll feel a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment.